No, I'm gonna take the short spot.
Because look, they're all one way, and the middle one's the other.
You convinced me. All right.
All right,
Okay,
Wes.
now it's live.
I'm
done. Oh, jeez. No. Okay. Now it's live. We're good to go.
It's
My
the fourth
turn?
time I'm taking that spot. Yeah, that's your turn.
Black. Let's do something dumb.
I have a penny for every time I said that.
Don't show them the pro strat.
Okay, you hook it.
Don't show them the. Oh, I need the green. All right, green's premium.
Because I collected all of them.
Don't show them the pro strats.
I have to. I just have to do it. And another rule: you can't hook two pieces on the same spot.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
This game gives me anxiety.
Oh, no! I took them all.
Good job.
I tried to be a dick. That's what happens.
Okay, now I can pull up chat.
Okay. All right. Orange. Is this
Comes from me.
technically
No,
orange?
that's red. It comes from me since I have them on.
What the fuck is wrong with me? Okay. Yep.
You already know.
Fifth time in a row. Let's go.
Woohoo!
That's all my game is going to consist of is taking the shit spot.
Orange. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
There's a
down.
major delay.
Orange.
I mean,
On
yeah.
mine. I was just noticing that's like almost an entire minute.
Or you have.
I
the
gotta
chat
learn
pulled
my
up, too.
lesson, to be honest.
Nice.
Because that's the perk
What are
I
you
have.
doing? You're gonna knock that orange one off.
Fuck me. Good job. I'm trying so hard. It's alright.
Let's do a
When you
parade,
guys roll
guys.
orange, you gotta take it from me.
Yellow.
Is this that weird green?
That's yellow. Yeah.
It's weird.
That's
It's
not yellow.
It's the
It's
lighting.
yellow.
It's
It probably looks yellow on the screen.
Oh my god, you gotta take it.
Yellow's annoying when you have to start.
Alright,
This
so
isn't gonna stay.
red. Right, okay.
This
Sure.
is the most falling that I've seen.
If I can just.
That's not gonna stay.
happen.
You're not gonna stay.
Wait, when you have the.
I have to stay.
Just turn it over to the middle.
I have to stay.
I'm an officer of the law.
I have to
There you
stay
go.
here. And
Well, I'm gonna
Roll
win
an
'cause I only
orange.
have 3 pieces left.
God damn it. I need you guys to roll oranges. Alright, I'm gonna roll an orange.
Whoop whoop. Roll an orange.
Time to start some more bullshit.
Way to
Good.
die.
take them all away again.
Stop. That's not gonna stay.
Oh man, you're.
Orange. Orange. Oh, I know you have an orange. Never mind.
I have
Debate.
two.
Oh,
2 left.
Hang it from the top.
One hand as well.
Oh god.
That's a rose.
I know.
You're.
This is.
Got it? It stays.
This is the farthest we've gotten, I think.
4
Maybe this
whole
is
pieces.
Orange.
one more. Orange.
Orange.
There you go.
Take an
It's
orange.
like, wait a minute, I didn't want that. What the fuck, man? I didn't. Why am I trying to be nice to the guy who's being a dick? I don't understand. Okay.
You better be careful.
I know. I just
Oh,
want
good.
to use my other hand. I'm going to use the other hand.
My problem is I keep wanting to like set them up there with my non-dominant hand, my left hand.
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
You should have it. He should have it.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
Oh my shit!
Ugh.
There's still time
You had
to
it
do
too.
I was going to be a legend!
You had it too.
Well,
Orange.
green.
Fuck.
I'm losing all my pieces. Look, I'm doing the pussy move.
You weren't even playing for half the game. You were on your computer. Well, I guess you were coming over here and playing. But
Yeah. I was getting the
Still.
live stream working. Shut your face. Good.
God damn it. What are you.
Orange. Oh wait, no. You have orange shit. Orange.
Orange.
Orange. We're failing.
Who was the outburst?
This guy? Why? Was that loud?
Yeah, I heard you over in the office.
Oh, I apologize.
Quit turning.
You should have seen it. Actually, if you were watching, you could see it.
Okay.
I was doing
You
good.
should have watched the live stream. You'd be able to
Does
see
it
it.
record?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It saves. And you can also go
Did
like
you roll?
Actually, if you, yeah, red.
instant replay.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Roll. If you get a yellow, I swear to God.
I'm gonna get a yellow.
It's his
Damn
turn.
it.
I know, but it,
No.
like,
Well, I
he
mean,
would have
okay,
won no
you
matter
have the
what.
most
if
I'm
you
gonna
got
go, yeah,
yellow.
go for it. Take it. Take it
Yeah,
away.
you have the most oranges. So
Yeah, but you can't
Take-
put yellow up by himself. Not
yeah,
really.
you can. It's possible, but
It's
it's hard.
hard.
Wait a minute.
What do you mean? Wait a minute.
You
Possible.
can start it like.
You
Yeah.
can start it however you want.
This game is nuts.
This game is not.
Oh, yes, take one of my
is
three
what it
greens.
is.
Who was bumping the table?
That was not me. I was not on the table.
I'm over
It
here.
was your turn. I was done. It stayed on.
Bullshit.
I am
My
an
turn
arm's
is
length
over.
away.
You rolled.
Where the fuck you on?
God. God, why?
Because he can.
Wasn't me.
Guess that's yours now.
That's yours because you have the
Don't
die.
play like dicks.
Back. Woohoo! I get to play a green.
Put it on like a dick. Keep it going.
Yeah,
Are there
not?
other classes?
Good job.
Don't
in-
like
Yours.
it. Keeping it out.
Are there other
I
classes
can't
in
get rid
session
of my
right now?
green.
No.
Oh, okay.
It is over.
All right.
Roll.
There's still a couple of instructors here. Okay, it's your
It's
turn.
your turn.
Are any of them?
Blue.
I kind
Got
of just
two,
dropped that.
he's
I
got
don't know if
How many
that.
total pieces
Counts,
do you have?
but-
How many pieces you got?
He's got a black. Green.
It's a blue.
It's very
This
dark.
Six.
dice
Five.
or die
I have 8.
sucks.
I have
It kind
9.
of does, yeah.
It's fluorescent. I feel like, and it's really
These colors
fucking with
on
my
here
vision.
don't match these colors at all.
No, it doesn't. It's
You
annoying.
dick with it.
Fucking
No,
put it
no,
right
no,
on the
don't-
tip.
yeah.
Right on the tip.
You can do that, but that's
Be a
really
dick with it.
hard.
No, put.
Right on the
Especially the
tip.
fact this table keeps moving on its own.
It doesn't matter if you get yellow, it's over.
Too much Red Bull.
Oh my god.
Shit. Okay,
Well,
well, you don't have to say.
Better he doesn't get a free one off the top now.
Yellow, yellow, yellow. Damn it.
I got
Yes, green.
3 green.
Okay.
I did statistics in Algebra 1. I wish I could tell you what it was right now, but with the fingertips.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm keeping that one.
Woohoo! He gets a green.
I got yellow.
So I don't win the game instantly.
The
if I-
the problem is that you keep
You
being
can't
able to
hang
put
it there. The red's gonna fall off.
you keep putting it there successfully, and we're the ones who keep knocking them down.
That I can't get it here.
It'll fall off. Watch. That's not gonna stay either.
I can't.
to wrap it around that top piece,
Somehow, yeah.
or Kendall's going to
It'll
have yellow.
hang on the top piece on its own.
I don't want it there though. I want it here.
It's not gonna.
No,
Not
I
this
don't think
again.
this has ever stopped.
Say hi to the
Fair.
camera.
This isn't.
Howdy.
Do you have people watching? Can you tell?
There's 2 people.
That
I'm
should
watching,
not be there.
and I
So-
think you're watching.
What are you streaming on?
YouTube.
YouTube? Give
That's
us a
fine.
minute, I'll get there.
So this game is called bullshit, or
It's called.
Oh, this is yours
Suspense.
still. Don't forget
It
it.
is-
oh,
it
I
is-
thought it was called fuck exclamation point.
Who wants to get door? You're on duty, right?
I got it.
All right.
Or Craig's got it.
One hand.
Okay.
Is that Steven back already?
No.
I hope not.
Blue.
That's what I thought.
He would have been speeding if that were the case.
Yeah.
You can hang it on this one to balance the yellow out.
Yeah, I know you won't.
I mean, you can hang it on the, like,
Yeah,
I'm
no
not
way.
going to show you how to do it because that's illegal.
It's illegal, but.
Don't bump the table.
I'm gonna try not to. So, legitimately,
I wouldn't do that. I would not do
Do
that.
it.
I could.
You can just, like,
I
Do
wouldn't do
it.
that.
Do what?
I'm sorry. I told you not to do that.
How did that fall off?
Table. I bumped it.
Okay. But you still have to play, as soon as it leaves your
Popeyes'
hand.
systems weren't working, so I couldn't get food from there. I
Popeye systems weren't working.
Yeah, their registers were broken.
Oh, I went to
That
Arby's
blows.
and they're registered. Like their cards weren't
Arby's
registered.
is great.
So I went to
Understood.
Taco
This
Bell.
was the time IHOP wasn't taking cards because their internet was down.
I had more.
You should have seen how many people walked
Naked in
in
there.
and walked
Walked out.
out.
Yeah.
Oral.
Like
you have
the amount
really
of
good
moves.
like hand.
What's happening?
And
I have good
coordination.
hands.
I wouldn't say hand like hand steadiness.
He's got good hands.
I
Bex.
slammed like 2 Red Bulls in like 20 minutes, so
Oh,
I'm
now you
like
did.
Okay.
What?
jittery.
My eyes. My eyes.
Woohoo!
I'm trying to look at that.
That's actually one of the most stable ways.
Why
to win.
do I not roll one that I have?
I have 2 green.
Why is no one chatting? I noticed that. Hey, chat.
What?
What are you doing?
It's having a hard time focusing.
Is it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Hold on. Let me manual focus time.
You're gonna hate me for what I just did. I forcibly moved it.
Damn.
Was that intentional? I don't know if that was intentional.
It was.
I was-
What are you trying to do?
I'm gonna
He's trying to
manual
refocus
focus.
the camera.
Oh.
Manual focus.
Okay, but that's being
Hey,
held up by the.
Yep. It shouldn't be like
Is that one yours?
No, that's not mine.
You're gonna want to be very
I didn't knock
careful.
anything down.
I don't even know.
There
That's
we
what I was
go.
Orange.
Welcome
Orange.
back, Range.
Orange. No, this is bad for her, not for you.
I needed them to do blue.
Oh,
Do
gotcha.
blue.
Hey, chat is actually here.
I'm the only one with another blue.
Oh my god.
I
Oh.
forcefully moved yours so hard.
That blue's gonna be gone.
Oh.
I almost had it.
What?
Then you lucked out. You lucked out.
And it went right back to where it was. Okay.
I don't know.
Why do you have so many yellows?
I feel like that yellow right there is yours, but
That
I'm
one
not
was already
sure.
laying there. I asked
Was
him
it?
about it.
Alright, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna complain.
Because I asked him if it was his, because I was like, when did that
It
yellow
wasn't
get
mine.
there? And
It's
so
not like, how did he get
I
a
went
green?
to check the footage.
I'm
Oh,
not-
'cause he-
yeah, you
fucked
could
up.
go back and look at it. We could figure this shit out.
No, but here, it's
Orange.
actually here, like right here, before I go to take my turn. Like if you go
Take
back.
the cheap
Oh,
spot.
I'm not
It's
worried
laying there the
about it.
whole
No, I
time.
believe you.
You might as well just take
I
the
was
cheap
just
I know
curious.
spot.
I thought it was one of theirs. Because I didn't know when they
You're
got
gonna
there
live
either.
off that spot. Let's be for real.
Dude, I have literally, it's either been up here or down
The,
here.
the fun part is not everything fell when I knocked it down. Because those ones stayed up there. So that's pretty balanced the way it is.
All right, roll an orange.
Why?
Because I want you to take an orange or a blue.
Yellow.
Fuck.
That's one of my pieces.
Wait a minute, this is how you.
Okay, Dylan, you're on. They are.
Yeah. Okay, can I steal that? Sign it.
Yeah.
Fun.
No, it's fine.
Here's the.
Yeah.
I thought you couldn't
Oh wait,
use
no,
one.
yeah, you're right. I didn't see that. It slipped.
You have to
Come
click
on.
in the spot and then click in the chat box at the bottom to type.
What? That's.
Yes,
Yeah, it's a
it
lot
is.
of work.
It is redundant trying to use
Yeah.
Google Spreadsheet.
You gotta tap on it and then tap on it
What's
again.
your last name?
Yep.
Good.
Your turn, Dylan.
Good.
Are you paying?
Yep.
Fuck. Why is it locked?
You
Why
can have
is
one
it
of mine.
locked?
You can have one of mine.
No.
You can have mine, she says.
No.
Don't
Well, no,
bend
I was
it.
gonna work on unlock.
Try as hard as you can not to bend
I'm
it.
trying.
They're stuck.
Let me do it. Oh wait, you got it?
I hate this.
Oh my god, it took 2 seconds. 2
Oh,
seconds.
God.
Mentally broken,
He
okay?
also used 2 hands. He
Well,
was trying to use
yeah.
one.
Oh, was he? I didn't even
At
notice
first,
that.
yeah.
Fucking much I'm paying attention. Oh god.
I'm mentally broken, okay?
But Dylan even still failed with 2 hands, because he eventually got there and still failed.
That's alright. I'm a better Reinhardt than you could ever be.
I don't play tanks, so good. Keep
I'm a
that.
better healer than you could ever be.
Whose turn?
That sucks.
Did
We're
you
back.
play, Dylan?
No, I have not. I got a
He got it
phone red.
untangled.
Oh. Play it. Nerd. Play it, nerd.
Alright.
Just say I'm taller than you will ever be. And that instantly happens.
That's
It's not.
At
You're,
this point,
you're right. It's
No,
not.
he's
it's
already
not.
done
That
growing
now.
at this point.
You're
Yeah.
very
I accept your
Do it. Just commit right there. Yep. Yes.
commit.
You got it.
Commit.
Yes.
Shake the table.
I'm not. That's all Craig if it's anything. I'm actually probably not helping.
I'm not. It's not gonna stay.
You got it. You
my
got it.
God.
You gotta
Keep putting
commit.
it there and it never stays.
Leave
You
me
gotta
alone.
just commit, Dylan.
I was gonna go to Popeyes and buy like a bag. 20
Commit.
chicken
Do it.
bun.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah, open that
Their
spot up
register
for me real
died,
quick.
so I couldn't, so I went to Taco Bell.
I will get it through that.
You will.
No, I won't.
Don't you like
Are you really gonna try and put it up there and hope the
Yeah,
table
the
doesn't
fingertip
shake?
trick.
Do it.
Hey, Kenny, don't you like Jaden's fucking
Oh, fuck it all.
I love this shit so much.
Okay,
This is
where's the-
great.
I came back and saw what happened. And I was like,
Oh, you alright?
It
5.
is.
Camera's alright.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
That's
Are you streaming?
red.
Yeah?
Who's
Yeah.
got the most red?
Nice.
It's one of you two. I'm gonna take his. He looks like he needs help.
Those are like
You have to take it
he has the
from
more
the-
pieces.
from the person
We
who has
both
the
had the
most.
most reds, but he had the most in general.
Oh, no, I thought it was just the most in general.
I think it's the most of that color.
Oh my god.
We'll trade one for one, I guess. You know, even though the other one wasn't. Look at that.
Green!
If he gets it to
Lazy
stick.
spot. I win.
Is that even a spot?
Yes.
Anywhere you can hang it, basically, right?
Yeah,
As long as it's
another
not.
piece is in there.
Wow. Okay. My mind
I
is
win.
opening to
I am a lord.
possibilities.
Alright, my turn.
Your turn?
My turn.
Fair enough.
Are you gonna keep playing or are you just gonna start again?
Start over.
Start over? Okay.
Please start over.
I'm gonna do action camera this time.
We're held against your
I'm gonna eat my ramen noodles.
Jaden, get over here.
Move like- Sure.
That was fun.
Get over here, Jaden.
Kind of fun.
Action
I
camera
stole this
time.
spot.
You did.
We each get one of each color.
One of each color. Orange, black, yellow, green,
Hey, Jaden, get over here.
red.
Now you want-
Oh wait, time
There's
for
6 colors, right?
There it is. Oh, then I need a blue. Stealing your blue.
And you didn't bring anything to share, so okay. Fair enough.
No, because nobody ever replaced my stuff. So.
Alright, then you need to black.
Class 3 classes.
You're being so intricate with your pieces.
Yeah, just rip off a black.
Yeah.
Just
You
because
paying?
it'll cause funny noises.
Or are you staying or no?
I'm not going to stay. I'm just kind of checking.
He still needs to check in for the
I mean,
year.
like, I meant like, does he plan to stay around longer than this? Yeah. Alright.
What are you doing, Kenny?
Is it bad that I've played with you quite a few times, but I can't remember names? But then again, my mind isn't here today.
No, because my name is blanking on everything about you. I didn't even recognize him. For the
Hey,
first
if
time.
it means anything,
Alright,
at
last
least
name.
you
Who
weren't a
wants to go
brain dead
first?
DPS.
I'm just gonna put B.
Okay,
Die.
And then you're not paying?
I'm not paying.
Alright, so.
Yes, it's that weird
Yeah, I'm
color.
gonna leave like 5:30.
Are you kidding me?
I'm pissed.
Where
Is
my
it my
sheep
turn?
things?
I didn't do anything wrong.
You didn't, but it's annoying.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
You're right.
Oh, door.
Door. I've got camera,
Did he go
so
for it?
I've got the camera right now.
Oh, okay.
Well, technically, you're on duty.
I know.
now. It's
I am
5
on duty,
o'clock.
but like,
Yeah.
I just want-
I mean,
It
way
was
to get
Pirate
him,
Day
though.
yesterday.
Get him.
what?
It was
Get
National
one on
Pirate
our
Day
Christmas.
yesterday. Yeah.
I'm not on duty.
I'm on duty. Yeah.
As of right
Start
now,
signing people in. Then you run the camera.
Hold on.
No.
Is there
Is it
some?
my turn? Wasn't me.
Yeah, fuck.
If you knock the table,
I didn't touch
It's
the
your
table.
turn.
I have it rolled.
I only put my drink down.
I wasn't even leaning
Then-
on the table at the time.
I just put my drink down.
The person who caused it was you.
Fine.
She's in her office, I think. You're welcome.
Hello.
Lazy.
I'll sit that right there. And I'm actually gonna move this over because I have a soda and I
Easy.
don't
Why
want to
not?
have to pay for something I can't
So
afford.
where's
Why
my
not?
marker at?
My turn.
What
In
color
the
are you?
binder. I'm the musical note. He's the lightning bolt, so he's the orange.
Lightning bolt.
I'm just gonna.
Whoop whoop.
I didn't completely get Kenny signed in, by the way.
oh,
Well, I'm gonna put-
He still needs a sheet.
What is this?
Because even though he's not going to be for long,
Yeah,
he still
I'll
needs
go
to
grab
sign
Yeah.
that.
If you want to fill it, so all he has to do is sign it, I can just go run into him.
Well, most of the sheet is him writing his name, signing
Exactly.
his name, and dating
Yeah.
it. That's all there really needs.
So what-
The blank ones are in the front.
Yeah, so.
And then I'm just gonna go run the entire binder then. So you're
Okay,
so
so
take the
sheet
sheet.
camera back on the tripod. Okay. Put the witness date.
You be the witness.
Wait, is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Yes.
Blur.
Oh.
What?
We let Jaden do it. This
That's red? I thought it was orange.
is
Yeah,
orange.
Oh, I thought you said red. Sorry, I'm.
Orange.
not
Okay, so
good
this is
with
the
names.
orange and this is the red.
I got my orange back. Nothing else fell, so we're gonna leave it at that. Whoever's got the most.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah.
Yep.
That blue is brutal. That blue is brutal.
I mean, I have that yellow right there.
I had to fix Kenny's mistake.
Do
but
I
he
still have to
eventually
try
got
and hang this one?
I mean,
Wait,
you
why
didn't
didn't
drop
you
it, so
still
you
make
still
that?
have a chance to
Yeah,
sign
he
it.
signed there, and I just.
How'd that go? The live stream. It's still going.
Okay, so
And that yellow one's mine, and I'm pretty happy with it.
These are mine now.
Yep, they are.
You have to mark it on orange and red, so you
Wonderful.
want people to land on those if they have problems.
Just grab the thing. Alright, put your name on the front. You didn't do that.
Can we put all of the black ones up there?
There you go.
I mean, I got mine.
Might as well have it be in one software. Yeah. That license to
Where did I put my thing? Is it still over there? It's still over there. You got my phone real quick.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Oh, mine's over there. I'm streaming his stream, so I'm fine.
I need to stream some.
Playing it on my phone. I'm streaming the stream.
Your turn.
Same.
I keep setting a piece, and the only piece that falls is the piece I just set.
Better than gaining others.
I never checked it
No.
either. Mine was being audio-less.
No.
Okay, it sounds alright. I got a patience.
Matsura.
Hey chat. Hey chat. How's audio?
Can you hear us?
Hot garbage.
I mean, they can probably hear the
Have
fans.
fun with that.
I will.
Wait, hold on. No
But the
one's
problem is part of
standing.
your chat is sitting
Yeah.
right here.
Well, what
yeah,
do you think I was
my
like
phone's
have fun
right
with
there,
This
and I'm
one or
streaming.
that
And
Orange.
So,
like,
Oh, okay.
I'm
Robbie is, I think, the only one not sitting.
a couple people.
no,
Robbie, are you
no,
muted?
my
On
God.
my Discord, so a couple
Oh,
Well,
so
thank
many,
you.
Robbie said something, and so.
Well, thank you.
I'm gonna do dynamic action camera again.
I brought
This is the
shit
longest we've lasted, just saying.
Shush.
Apparently,
This is it.
Wes
This is where
bad-
he knocks
No,
all of
apparently
them
Wes
off.
is bad luck.
This is bad luck.
Me?
No.
Well, because we're doing really good without you playing.
Oh,
I'll take
I'm
that.
just too good.
We're too good.
I'll take that. It's fine.
I skipped that. You skipped the Game Boy.
Robbie said yes, they can hear.
Okay, cool.
I didn't look at it for. And I think the slight delay from
DS.
things
3DS.
makes things.
3DS. Let's go to the DS.
Where is that going?
I mean, if you set it down, you might have the luck that it
No,
hangs in a pole.
I'm not taking that. No, I'm taking. Let me grab the yellow really quick. I'm accepting my fate there.
I think it is yours.
Believe it or not, I started on.
I started on
Ow.
What was that?
My ears. That's what that was.
You zoomed it.
Death.
That was my teacher.
I did.
That was
I can't hold
Wow.
this.
That is by far
Great shot
the
there,
best that
Wes.
I've seen.
Dylan, just give up. You'll
He
never
zoomed
win.
in. He was just like,
And
whoop.
if my hand moves, this is gone.
You're dead. You might as well just accept your fate.
Because we looked over at the screen and you zoomed on this, and the angle was where I was sitting as the backdrop.
I didn't notice.
We
That was-
know you didn't notice.
We don't blame you. Like, you were focused on the game. We
Yeah.
just happened to look over and it's like, ooh, titties. Oh, I
I
love
guess
it.
your mind
So
is dirty.
dead.
Just commit. Just commit. You have to commit at this point. Otherwise, you're gonna lose them all. Just drop it. Let it go. Let gravity decide your fate.
Well, at least I have the easy ones.
The longer he takes setting it, the more he's knocking off.
Well, it's because if I just dropped it, they were all gonna go.
Not necessarily. You gotta
yeah, and
believe
you
in
sort of
gravity.
like, have fun with the orange one. I'm like, okay.
Need a green.
Yeah, the orange one just fucked me.
Yeah, I wonder why.
You've got the most. It's
I need you to roll a yellow.
I want to roll red or green.
No, I want you to roll a yellow.
Absolutely not.
Why did you drop it right there?
That's the one board.
Woo, I got
Litty
a green. I needed green and now I got green.
Oh god.
You got the easy spot now. Or you can go for the
Told you, you just gotta commit and accept it.
Okay.
Not my car.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna make
I was
life
gonna say,
difficult.
like, how did you
You can
forget
go
your
first.
entire powers of
I don't know.
I gotta
who-
fix
Yeah.
What is that noise?
Never mind. Yes.
More
Yes,
Alex from my phone.
that's it. Yeah.
I know.
Yes.
You wouldn't happen to have
Just gotta commit. Yep. Get in there. Just commit. Commit.
I am
But
committed.
I'm broke.
Commit.
Nice.
Told you. You just gotta commit. Don't even.
That makes it so easy for whoever
That's
wants to
actually
just go right
really-
there.
That makes that really stable. To an extent.
Here, just throw it right in the back.
I'm gonna try it.
It won't go anywhere.
His name is.
Why are you making it painful now?
Yeah.
You just made it painful for
Well,
no
no, because it
reason.
wasn't going to balance in the middle.
Yeah, it would have though. This is stable. Look, she just hit the
Also-
table and that's stable.
Shut up!
Figures, man? Yeah. Hell yeah.
That middle one
That
is
green,
stable.
That one
But-
never
I was
stays,
gonna play
like, at
Gears
all.
5 while waiting for that. to
Okay,
get
but I could have at least helped it. I was just
I
like,
don't
here, let
have
it go.
Why do you think I keep getting pieces?
Same.
After a while, I was placing them with my non-dominant hand, so
Not much to do at this point.
Grant, I'm ripping your power cord.
You know what? You had one that was easier to put in there, Craig.
hey, it's taking care of my pieces. So.
Roll orange. Okay, that's a lie. One of you two roll orange.
Yeah, I'm gonna be insanely stupid.
I'm gonna death fight.
I need someone to roll a black.
No.
Yes.
No. I had it.
You can
I'm
refuse,
having
but that doesn't mean it's gonna listen.
Actually, you had that. You had that.
I did until it twisted on.
What do you mean, why Carmine?
Whoa.
You got it. You got it. It's okay.
Why do you think
Commit.
Carmine?
Just
Commit.
commit.
Oh.
Is that your
There we go.
catchphrase of the day?
Always commit.
And do it.
Orange.
Do it. Commit. Do it. Yes. Yes.
I'm trying to figure that out.
No.
And I
Yes.
feel like maybe for
Yes.
maybe.
Why don't you steal the cheesy spot?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's.
Because I hate the easy spot. Actually, I think you take her.
I've
Yeah.
never played Gears.
Yeah, but everybody
I
knows
Because I keep
appreciate trying
doing
though.
pieces.
red shirts with Star Trek.
Yes. Yes. What?
Whoa.
Yes.
I mean, he could have went there.
I thought he was gonna go right where he is, but then he like started going lower, and I was like, what? Just let go. You got it.
And that was before my
Okay.
time.
I didn't have to.
That's a weird spot.
Definitely.
That's fine. I'm not fucking with that.
Oh my god.
Oh
You're a wiener.
my god.
It was a yellow
I mean,
piece.
that's
I really
what
couldn't
I
do
would
that.
do, but
I
I
know.
feel like I could have gotten.
I mean, you could if you
I wish I
tried.
could read chat
Yeah,
through
you're
the
the only one with the
viewfinder.
black
I can't.
That's why I was like, get black.
You want to play Gears?
Get black, son.
See,
I have.
You could
I'm
put
fucked
the hand
here.
off right there.
Maybe that's
I got 2 yellows.
But I do have to leave this.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I gotta go pick up my kid.
Wow.
Yes.
It felt
Yes.
like that. I wasn't going to touch it.
Alright, now I need you guys to roll yellows.
Yeah, Yeah, we need to stop rolling yellow.
Roll yellows. Roll yellows. Come on.
Okay, Craig.
I don't know what
Roll
I
a
did.
yellow.
She got a yellow up there too.
You need to roll a yellow. Goddamn.
Blue.
And I can't mark on my
Shit.
This is getting.
You only mark on other people's.
All right.
Assume that's for the tic-tac toe.
He's
No.
going for the middle.
It's not happening.
Oh!
Go on the camera, fuck.
Hey, you got a yellow.
I know.
But where are you gonna put it? You could actually
Right.
probably get away with putting it
So-
right there. I don't know why I'm helping.
Grant's gonna run me back to my house.
Oh!
This is what depression looks like.
Right?
This is also yours, it's not mine. So close, yet so far.
Did you hear me?
What?
Grant's gonna run me back to my house so I can grab my phone.
Because why not?
Okay, there we go.
And I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm
Got
right
blue.
on me.
We're tied
Just
for
if anybody
pieces,
asks
so.
why I'm not here.
I'm not in charge of that. That's his problem now.
After this game's gonna end.
You can technically hang it on this curve. But I don't know if that'll work.
I was having
Excuse
issues
you?
mounting the camera, so that's why it's shaky.
No.
So what?
Yes.
No!
Do it.
Yay, got rid
I
of my
committed
red.
too fast. I would have had that if I wouldn't have just dropped it.
Anything but green, thank God.
Oh.
Black.
Okay. Like the power cord for your monitor?
My PC.
Oh.
My monitor's a TV, so that power cord comes with the thing.
Yeah.
This is what depression looks
hardwired
like.
in.
I can never leave.
It's hardwired.
Yeah, I can't leave. If I leave without that, I basically leave without the TV. Grant!
I know my TV at home has like a separate.
He's doing. Commit.
There's already
Do
a
it.
thing there.
Yes.
There's
Yes,
already
Let
he's
go.
hanging on.
Just let go.
Hanging off the top one.
Just let go.
I'm hanging off the top one.
If you just let it go down slowly, you have
What
this.
top one?
Right here. If you just
Yeah,
let
but,
it
like,
go down
look at where
slowly,
this is going.
it's okay.
It's
Just
gonna
do
go-
it. Just do it. Just do it. Do it. Do it. Trust
Oh,
me.
okay.
You made it a little difficult. I don't know if that's gonna work, but just let it go down right there. Just let it. Trust me.
Wes. Fuck you.
I'm repping.
Just let it go down. Let it go down.
I want to make it.
Alright, we'll be right back.
I want to make
You're
it
at.
difficult.
You're gonna make it.
Fuck it.
See, I told you.
It
Just
fell.
let
I
it go
didn't
down.
want to let it. I wanted to
He
take
let go
that
and it fell
one.
there.
Did you want all of them though?
I wanted to block 2 in 1.
Okay,
You need a blue.
Fuck.
we need that device.
Where am I gonna put this?
I can't tell you.
Alright, we'll be back in like 20 minutes.
I like our
It
ensemble.
landed.
I was so happy to hand that off. Ooh, I see one that I can brew.
Okay. Make up for your mistake. You're paying me more money now. By the way.
Whoa. Alright.
Oh
Shit.
If
no!
he makes this one,
You better fucking drop it. That
He
yellow one is
100%
very
got it.
unstable.
he's gonna go for that spot because
Oh,
he's
my
able
Lord.
to. He's gotten that spot 4 times.
It's
Alright,
shaking,
are
it's
you gonna play
shaking.
for seconds and thirds?
Raw fucking blow. Nice.
I did not drop a single piece.
I've dropped a lot.
That's
I think you dropped like 1 or 2 in the beginning.
No, I didn't drop any.
But that's why I was like, it was like a single piece.
No, I didn't drop
Gotta be
any
careful.
whatsoever.
Yeah, otherwise, no.
Is this a little over?
Gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful.
Drop it all, drop it all.
faces into it. Damn it.
I want to see that.
Aha! I got it! Yes. This looks like a bunch of bullshit. It's stable though. The majority of it is stable.
Engineering majors.
Wait for it.
Wait, do I have it to where it's
It's not a curve.
I'm waiting for it.
That's a-
Once you see me watching the screen, you'll know it's coming soon.
Okay. Yeah.
I love it.
The problem is one slid into the same spot as another, but I didn't set it there.
Except everyone's sitting at the table, but like.
Wait, am I branding or did I set it just right?
You're not pointed. It's not pointed at the camera. I don't care because I talk about Dr. Pepper all the time.
Dr. Pepper's good!
I know.
No!
Label the camera.
Label?
Label the camera.
We're running into like these weird tangle spots. It's
I mean-
entertaining.
A lot of it is actually pretty stable.
Here you go! The thing is, yeah, Craig could put it in those shitty spots, and then you knew the next person who had to fucking set something there. It was like, gone.
I like this battery.
Okay, well. That
And
won't.
if I plug
Yeah,
it in,
you
I
did
can
it.
pull the battery off. Swap out the battery.
Take a yellow.
Take a yellow.
Knock a yellow down and take it for me.
Yeah.
I'm unprepared for this. That's why I'm not staying too long.
Oh! Ah!
I got my yellow back.
Wow, that blue.
I got my yellow back. Yes, you can finally play a red.
I know, right? I've been holding on to these for almost the entire game. Hold on.
We'll just not use the cheap spot.
What?
What's the point? Unless you need to.
You can't take
Ah!
the final.
Oh, okay, so you have a chance to reroll. It's
Dang
your, it's your
it.
final
No.
piece. Oh,
Just skips my turn.
it just skips his turn.
Ow.
Very nice.
You got it, you got it, you got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is way too
Come
stable.
on, come on, come on.
That's because Craig.
No!
He said he's
No!
I was like, it's because you built it.
This is way too stable.
Best part is we have almost knocked that one blue one off multiple times, yet have not.
Oh, you're the one streaming? Yeah.
Way too stable. This isn't right. Fuck.
I just want red and I don't want to hit the table.
This is way too stable, and this is actually like sad.
Well, I mean, at
I
least
haven't
you're.
done it in a long time.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, next
We're at
time
this
I'm
point in the
bringing
game where we all
German.
have like one left. And we're playing for seconds because Craig
Way
already
too
won.
stable. It's annoying.
Because I have very
Did this morning at 1 o'clock.
Did you get signed in?
Yeah,
Okay, so now
No, I refuse to come in last place.
Because I'm gonna set this up for next
I
time.
got it
Don't
when,
do
when it
cheap.
first came out for
Go big or go home.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Didn't touch it after I got done playing
It's way too stable.
I refuse. I'm not gonna come in
it.
last.
It's done it too well.
And I didn't go the cheap route either because that space is still open.
Yeah,
God damn it.
yeah, no, it's really smooth. I haven't found anything out that I don't like about it yet.
Just gonna
Except for
keep
maybe like
keep
there's,
rolling
like,
because I know I can't ever get it.
I didn't come in last place. That's all I care about.
All you have to just put that one on there. We got every piece up there.
Dylan, is this, how many times
The
have you
blurry?
played?
Yeah, that was another thing.
Hold on,
but
I gotta take a
kinda get
picture of
used to
this.
it
Hey,
after a while.
Can
A
I
little
do
bit why.
something after you're
But-
done?
Because I want to know
Yeah,
how.
it's pretty fun.
Because I
You
always
don't need a
want to do
picture,
this.
it's being streamed.
You're gonna hit the table?
No,
This
I
is
want a
way too
picture.
stable.
I'm gonna put it on the Discord.
Oh, right.
No, no, no,
Way
no,
too
no, no.
stable. Way too stable.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Too
way,
loud. A little bit
way
too.
too stable.
Let's put these pieces back on.
Too stable. Stop there. Could put it anywhere.
That's crazy how stable we got that though.
Yeah. Because it all fell into
Except, I
place.
can't, except for me trying to put this one piece back on.
Okay.
I think I big end screen. That works.
We got it again. We re-put those fallen pieces back